We reached our last session here of this brief survey of the 40 Hadith of Imam Nawawi rahimahullah. Obviously, I think those who have been attending have benefited from it. You see a lot of wisdom in these sayings of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and different things that we've gone over from aspects of our creed in terms of our belief, in terms of what happens with the soul, what happens when we pass away. And also we talked about just other things about rights amongst each other and so forth. A lot of nice, beautiful points that we have taken so far. So this is the last section that we're going to do, and then next week, inshallah ta'ala, we'll start a Ramadan preparation course. So we'll have 3 sessions. Next week will be Hadith and planning for the month of Ramadan. And the session after that will be the fiqh of Ramadan, going over all the questions about fasting, about praying Taraweeh. Is it 8? Is it 20? Where did that come from? All that good stuff. And then last session will be about, we call it Ulum al-Quran, sciences of the Quran. Since the Ramadan is known as the month of the Quran, we'll go over basically what is the Quran, why does the surahs arranged the way they are, where did they get their names from, how the Quran is divided up, all these different aspects within the Quran, how was it compiled, all that and so forth. So inshallah that should be quite interesting, especially everyone reads the Quran, but sometimes we don't even know exactly all about all the details in it. So I call it the blueprint of the Quran because you'll see a lot of information on it, inshallah. And then Ramadan will start, and then most likely we'll do a hadith class, which maybe the Surah Rahman or another surah, we'll see. We're still kind of defining which one we should do, inshallah ta'ala. So this is the hadith for today. We're going to go over hadith number 35 and hadith number 36, inshallah ta'ala. So we'll start with number 35 first and foremost, and then inshallah we'll see this. The 2 hadith for today is a lot about brotherhood, if you will, and sisterhood, rights amongst each other as being Muslims, and how to deal with each other, and how to deal with diseases of the heart, which we'll see inshallah ta'ala. You'll see a great benefit hopefully for everyone. You'll see there's a lot of points to be made from these 2 hadith we're going to go over. So the first one, Abi Hurayrah radiyallahu anhu قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تحاسدوا ولا تناجشوا ولا تباغضوا ولا تدابروا ولا بيع بعضكم على بيع بعض وكونوا عباد الله إخوانا المسلم أخو مسلم لا يظلمه ولا يخذله ولا يكذبه ولا يحقره التقوى ها هنا ويشير إلى صدري 3 مرات بحسب امرئ من الشر أن يحقر أخاه المسلم كل مسلم على مسلم حرام دمه وماله وعرضه. So the Prophet ﷺ mentioned a hadith by Abu Hurayrah radiyallahu anhu, who said, do not envy one another, do not inflate prices for one another, do not hate one another, do not turn away from one another, do not undercut one another in trade, but rather be servants of Allah, brothers amongst yourselves. A Muslim is a brother of a Muslim. He does not oppress him, he does not fail him, he does not lie to him, he does not hold him in contempt. Taqwa, piety, is right here. The Prophet pointed to his chest 3 times. It is evil enough for a man to hold his brother Muslim in contempt. The whole of a Muslim is invaluable for another Muslim, his blood, his property, and his honor. So you see there's a lot of points here to talk about. The Prophet ﷺ is giving a lot of us points to think about in terms of how we interact with each other and how should we see each other. So what does it mean here? So what are some things that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned here? Number 1 is that he says, do not envy each other. So first of all, before I go to that, I'll just take it off the screen. What is envy? Can someone describe to me what envy is? Animosity. That's kind of general, right?
It's jealousy.
Jealousy. Okay.
A form of jealousy, like when you don't say mashallah.
Okay.
Envy.
Okay. So why don't you say mashallah for?
Jealousy.
It's like circular definition, right? But why? Because you don't like that person did something, right? Or got something.
Yeah.
So they got a new car, you don't say mashallah, you don't say you don't thank them. You kind of you don't feel good about that they got a car. Maybe because you didn't like that, or because you think they don't deserve it. because they're a bad person and they did something to you, for example, right? Maybe that's it. Any other definition of envy anyone wants to add to that? One thing the scholars have defined, they define it in 2 ways. So number one, it's not just envy, a jealousy that you dislike a blessing that's been upon somebody, and you will like that, and you will like for them to lose that blessing. For example, like a really extreme example, kind of terrible, but people do this unfortunately. When someone has a child, right, and they're all happy and they're celebrating, someone like who doesn't like those people say like, why did Allah bless them with that child for? And they want them to lose that child, which is really terrible, but this goes on, right? And so, or if it's a car, or if it's a house, right? Like, why did they get a house for, man? We should have got a house, you know what I mean? Like, hopefully they lose it, hopefully they get bankrupt, hopefully the escrow doesn't go through, right? People do that because of hatred and other things, if you will. So the scholars said number one, let's go over the definition here, is that to wish for the removal of a blessing that has been bestowed upon a person, and the wish for the removal of the blessing. There we go. That's the key word, removal, right? And the second one, as Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, one of the famous scholars we have in our history, said that it's the dislike of a blessing that has been bestowed upon a person. So not that you want it to remove from the person, just that you dislike it. That's hasad, right? What's the word? Anyone? When I say the word hasad, anyone think to their head what surah that comes into? Where do you see that? Where do you remember the word hasad? Come on, you guys can do it.
Class?
No, close. Not asl. You're close. You're close. So sort of F. Right after ikhlas. Surah Falaq. Right.
He said it.
He said it. He said it.
He whispered it.
He whispered.
He said yogurt like.
Huh?
He gets a yogurt like.
He didn't want nobody to envy him, that's why. Right, so we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you seek reference to Allah from the word that people do hasad, right? The hasad, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ends Surah Falaq on that word. Because you don't want anyone to envy you. Because envy causes a lot of issues, right? People not only they don't like want to greet you because they look at you kind of mad and so forth, but why? Because of that first definition, sometimes they'll do things to try to harm you, right? Because that boils in the heart, right? And then they want to try to remove that blessing from you, whether that's a car, whether because you're the president of the masjid, whether you got a new job, whether you have a child, and so forth, right? So hasad is something that's very, very terrible, right? And something you want to be worried about. Why is it really terrible? Can anyone tell me about 3 examples? I know we didn't do too good in the first quiz. Here we go. Here's the second quiz question now. Is 3 examples of hasad, envy in the Quran that we have that shows like when somebody envied someone else. You want to know? Quite famous stories in the Quran.
Yeah.
So we got Yusuf alayhi salam. So explain that.
Brothers.
Right? So that is in family jealousy.
The uncle of the prophet.
Not the uncle of the prophet. No. He's okay with him. He was well. That's not like Abu Lahab and so forth.
Yeah.
But he didn't really jealous him. He just like hated him. He didn't want him. He could maybe say that's jealousy. But Yusuf alayhi salam in the Quran, he had his own brothers that jealous him. Right. So this is an example of jealousy within the family. How they said that his dad favored him. Right. And we say that Yaqub alayhi salam was a prophet, didn't really favor Yusuf alayhi salam. That was something that they felt. Because he's a prophet, he wouldn't do something like that.
Can you say Musa alayhi salam?
Musa, what's the example of Musa?
His father. He was not his real father.
Who's his father? Go ahead.
No, I mean, Fir'aun, right?
Oh, Fir'aun is his father.
Stepfather.
Okay, in terms of that sense. Sorry, I was like, whoa, how are you making that example?
Right. That's why I said, can you give that example?
I don't think he jealous. Yeah, maybe you could say that. Maybe
He couldn't do anything to him.
Right. What's a little bit more clear examples of jealousy? How about from the beginning, the very, very beginning? What do we have?
Shaitan.
There you go. Shaitan jealous who?
Adam.
So jealousy is something that you think that's a very small, big deal. It's a little thing, big deal, jealousy. But what did that jealousy turn into? Hatred. Turned to be what? That he said that I am going to try to mislead the whole of mankind. Because of this little jealousy he had of Adam alayhi salam, that I am khairu minhu, I am better than him because I'm made from smokeless fire, and he's made from dirt. That little phrase turned into what? All of us now are battling that because of Shaitan had that little bit of envy. So we have Shaitan and Adam alayhi salam. We have Yusuf alayhi salam. What's a third example of jealousy?
Son of Adam.
There you go.
Habil.
Ahsan. Very beautiful, beautiful.
Son of Adam?
The sons of Adam. Right?
Yes,
We have Qabil and Habil,
Yeah,
Cain and Abel,
yes,
right?
yes.
And we see that because of the jealousy that they had between them, that one ended up doing what?
Killing us.
Killing them, right? Because he envied his sacrifice that he made to Allah and this. Some say that because of a woman that he was married to, that he wanted to marry.
Yeah, that's in the Bible.
That's more of the Bible version, exactly. Right. So we see that just because of this example, because of this envy, what happens is that that brother Cain, who kills Habil, or Qabil, Cain kills Habil, he said that he ends up being like a very evil person after that, right? And that's more biblical a little bit to extent where it starts having more of the evil people, the first evil creation, if you will, of mankind because of that, if you will. So we see the example of how hasad turns into something that's really, really bad and it's really terrible. So that's something you want to cleanse from your heart. And we're going to go over a little bit how to take hasad away from your heart.
I had a question. Does the Quran believe in, the bad eye when you do give hasad?
Yeah.
That person might crash their car, or that person might lose their house.
Yeah.
It talks about that. Or
Yeah.
breaks that down.
Yeah, so that people are envious of so much of some other people that they put almost like a bad eye.
Why does it go against the person that Allah gave the barakah to, and not to maybe the person that's giving the?
Oh, that's from that person. So that person does hasad on another person, right? And gives them the evil eye, basically like hating for them that they got this and so forth. To the point that they try to wish evil for them.
Sometimes it does happen.
It does happen. That's why it's good to say Ayatul Kursi, La ilaha illallah, Hayyul Qayyum, right? To recite these verses of the Quran, Qul A'udhu bin Falaq, Qul A'udhu bin Nas, right?
So that's not a myth.
Not necessarily. No. I'm not too much an expert on this topic, but no, I do that. I know that does
heard
exist.
that a lot.
Yeah, that definitely. That's why we should be careful. That's why if you ever get blessed with something, I always suggest to people, don't celebrate in front of others like especially if you know other people are trying to get a job, trying to have a child, and you're there like, oh, I love my son, and you're like throwing them up, and you're like making this big thing. Everyone loves their kids. That's great, but sometimes you don't know that you might be making someone feel bad, right? Which is sad. You're like, well, I'm waiting for a son. I have a son. I want to celebrate, right? But at the same time, you don't want to overpraise that whatever blessing.
Yeah, think about others.
Right, exactly. Whether that's a car, whether that job, because sometimes some people are going through tough times where they don't have that, right? Even a happy marriage, when you and your wife is there smiling and you guys are getting along so great, and some people are like, they don't. It's unfortunate. People have these really bad hearts. It's sad though, but it's a reality. So you want to try to protect yourself, right? So just not celebrating all this kind of stuff, and we'll go over some things that inshallah we could do to take. To take a hasad away from your heart. Actually, let's talk about it a little bit really quick. One of the things is that the way that we can work on hasad is not having envy is for you to be pleased with the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What do I mean by that? To be pleased with the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How will that take away envy?
By the blessings He's given you already.
Somewhat. I'm looking at it at a different angle. How can being happy with what Allah decreed take away envy from your heart?
Zikr?
No.
Looking at more unfortunate people.
Not 100% there. Because you're pleased with the decree that Allah blessed that person with a car, and that person with a child, and you say, that's from the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Can you explain the word decree? I'm sorry.
Decree is like what Allah has ordained, right? So, for example, for you to have a job, that came from Allah. For you to have good health right now, it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah decreed that you have 2 arms and 2 legs, and someone else maybe doesn't have that, right? So for somebody jealous is that, Brother Anzur has $1 million, because he has this job and that job, then I will say, that's what Allah decreed for him. So guess what? I should be happy. That's from Allah's wisdom, right? So for me to envy you is like as if I'm saying I'm disliking what Allah blessed upon you. And if you look at it from that angle, then you're like, whoa, I should back off. Because now that you have a problem with that person, you have a problem with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you put it in that wording, then you're like, oh, okay, hold on, I think I need I think I need to back up. I think I need to check myself, if you will, right? So when you're envying someone, it's like if you're like, you don't like what Allah has blessed them with, right? And that is a bigger issue. And that goes against a lot of other creedal type beliefs in Islam, as we know that everything comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you need to be pleased with that, right? And if you're not pleased with that, that's if you're, arguing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, somewhat in a metaphorical sense, if you will, right? So that's one way that you can take hasad out, and we'll explain two other points when we get to anger, if you will. So then the second thing that the Prophet mentioned is that do not inflate prices for one another. So what is this? Don't inflate prices. The thing you have to understand, the Prophet ﷺ is dealing with the Sahaba, his companions, who were like traders in a market, right? For us, we don't really do that too much anymore. We go to Target and the price is $5.99, right? No one's going to come and say, I want to buy that for $4.99, or I want to buy that for $6.99. So only one left on the shelf. If the Target guy's manager's not going to say, okay, I'm going to sell it for you for $6.99 and not for the other guy for $5.99, right? It's whatever the fixed price is. But everyone's probably been to a swap meet before, or flea market. Right? Oh, some of you come from, back home countries like we say Pakistan or Egypt or different places. Where one thing I know, I had a big trouble when I lived in Egypt, is that nothing has price tags on it. And so you go there like, how much is this shirt? Why don't you guys put $6.99 so I know I'm not getting, getting ripped off, and I know I'm a foreigner. And so he tells me $30. What am I supposed to say? I don't know, $30. I'll buy it for sell it to the next guy for $4, and then I didn't know that, right? And even in the grocery store, that used to blow my mind. Why isn't there no? It's a grocery store, right? Just put the milk as whatever, get a tag and write on it, right? But anyhow, so the problem is that when you go to get something, for example, I want to buy this little bottle of cologne. What is it? Do not inflate one price from one another. If Brother Aslam is selling this, and I ask him how much is that, and he said that's $7. And I said, give it to me for $6, right? And what happened? Another person walks in and says, "You selling that?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll pay $10 for this." And I was like, "You want $10? I want, okay, $11. I'll give you $11 for this." And then this guy goes, "What? I want $12." This guy here, it's not that he really wants this bottle of cologne. He's just doing that to harm me. So I end up paying $11 now, when I was just about to pay what, $6, right? That's called inflating the prices. Tanadashu. That's the word najasha in Arabic. That means that even this person, he really doesn't want to buy the cologne. He just wants to harm me and make me pay more and make me suffer, right?
What about the opposite, where like the shop gives you like a discount price because like it's not unfair to people?
No, that's just a favor of the seller. That's from his rahman, his mercy, or something like that, right? So, but for another person to jump in, sometimes on eBay, if you guys ever buy things on eBay,
yeah.
Right? You can put like $10. Another guy puts, $11.50, right? And then some guy puts $12. The thing with eBay though, if that person puts 12 and no one else bids over him, what happens? He has to buy that, right? But in the market, if he says $12 and the guy just says, I'm not going to pay $12, he could walk away. There's nothing binding on that, right? eBay, like, you have to buy it, or else you have to work out with the seller and stuff like that, right? So here, it's like, that's almost a little bit of comparison. So this thing, do not inflate prices of one another. You see that, obviously, that's going to cause what? Hatred, right? Because this guy, man, why did he come for me? I was going to buy this for $6, now I'm paying $12 for double the price, right? So you see that's the reason why the Prophet don't do that, because that's going to cause harm between each other. That's why the Prophet, all these advices that he's giving here is about not having bad blood amongst each other, trying to stay away from that, if you will. Right? So this is really hard to practice today. I don't know if anyone really falls into this type of category, but anyhow. So the Prophet once again mentioning that because that's what they were dealing with at that time. And then he says, do not hate one another. Don't hate one another. The word hate in Arabic is ba, gha, ghain, and da. Bagd. Right? Just try to say it. Bagd. It almost sounds like you're angry when you say it, right? It's bagd. Like it's very hard to say. But that's the word for hatred. Right? It's almost like it makes you mad to even say that word, right? And so this is something that's obviously it's one of the diseases of the heart the scholars have mentioned. So the Prophet says that do not hate each other. Because hate leads to what? It leads to like violence a lot of times. Like I just like, this couple, whatever, the way this table is. I don't like how it's organized. But if I hate it, then guess what? I'm gonna throw it down, I'm gonna pull this thing off, and I'm gonna try to change it, right? I hate the way you act. I hate this type of, food or something like that. Whatever people do, all type of hate, right? So hate's a little bit more to like a second level, a third level of dislike, if you will.
Can't use the word adu.
I'll do is more like, it's more like, do is like more, and like
Adu means
Animosity.
animosity can more be like use that for together with like someone who's an adu is like an enemy of each other.
enemy. There you go.
Right. So all that was kind of like if there was an adjective for someone who was an enemy, that would be it, which is might be animosity. You know what I mean? Aggression or something like aggression might be actually probably like something like this, if you will. So, but I could actually go to the definition. Every word has its own little definition. But I know that's a good point you're making here. So one thing is that scholars have talked about is that do not hate each other. The meaning is do not act upon your hate. So the thing is that hating is something we're all going to feel. It's because we're human beings. Okay? It's going to come in your heart. Whether sometimes your spouse might do something you might not like, a family member, in-laws, some person in the masjid, some person on the street, in the freeway, and hate comes into your heart. So it's natural. Now what you do with that hate is more the second question. If you're going to break the window and punch a hole in the wall, or you're going to walk away in your room and put your head down and try to keep calm, there's two different ways, right? You're going to handle it. So the meaning here is that do not act upon your hate, right? Do not grab a remote control and fling it around the room or throw the cup down, etc. Is to control yourself. That's why the Prophet said that the strongest amongst you is not the one who has the biggest muscles, but the one who can control his anger. Because that's hard to do, right? Everyone would rather lift weights and go to the gym than try to control your anger, because that's
count to 10.
Yeah, so whatever you have to do, right? So what are some ways to take anger away? And when talking about anger, usually anger for somebody else. Scholars have mentioned two things, and there's more things that we can mention. Is number one, when someone mentions that person's name, right? Whether that's your mother-in-law, whether that is some family member that took your inheritance and, destroyed your marriage or did this to you, is that try to mention a good characteristic of that person. Even if you're like lying, right? So that's a good brother. He comes to the masjid, alhamdulillah. Even though you know that he is the one that took your money and he said this about your wife and said this about your children. Is that to mention good characteristics. And this is what the Prophet mentioned in terms of spouses. When they dislike each other, he says maybe that you might dislike a characteristic in her, but you might like another characteristic, right? So focus on that characteristic. Alhamdulillah, she cooks good. Or alhamdulillah, she makes me happy. She listens to when I have like something going on in my mind. She sits there and lets me rant. Or she does this or that, whatever.
Focus on the positive.
Exactly.
That could also be taken as sarcasm.
Sarcasm, in terms of what? What do you mean?
Like, if somebody knows that somebody, one person hates another,
Yeah.
if he is right on the face, trying
Yeah.
to say something positive.
Obviously,
He's trying to be sarcastic.
Yeah, but don't say it like with a smirk on your face. He comes to the masjid.
They'll know.
You don't want to do that, you know what I mean? But yeah. But when you say that, it's hard to get that on your tongue. That person, Hamza, is a good person, right? Because you know what he did to you, Hamza, what he did to you. But for you to say that on your tongue is it's as if you're like dying, right? So you have to practice that. The second thing they said to mention to try to get the hatred out of your heart is to make personal dua for that person. Hamza did this to me, okay? So when I'm making dua after salah, or before I go to sleep, when I'm making dua for who? My mother, my spouse, my son, right? My uncle, people in Palestine, and I'm naming these people, then name Allah, bless and guide Hamza, right? That's hard to do. Because everyone makes a dua, right? Alhamdulillah. Everyone has their list of people everyone says, right? Everyone has like those 5 or 7 names you say, right? Some people say more. But for you to put that person's name in there, the person who you hate so much, is something really hard to do. By you doing that, you're forcing your heart to pull that anger out and throw it away, right? Scraping it out from your heart, pretty much. As if you scrape off tar or the charcoal off your barbecue, you know how that is, right? Same thing here, you want to get that off of your heart. Because as the Prophet said, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Shu'ara, or Surah Shura, I always forget, Allah said, لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا ما كان الله بالقلب السليم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about on the day of judgment, nothing will benefit us in this room here, Muslims in general, not from our money and not from our children, except who comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a sound heart. Okay. What's a sound heart? Heart doesn't have anger in it, doesn't have lust in it, doesn't have envy in it. You can't go to Jannah and have hatred. I think I mentioned this before. When you see you see Hamza, you're like, what are you doing over here for? The heck? You know you don't belong to be in here. And then people are arguing in Jannah. You think people are arguing in Jannah? They're throwing their pillows and their whatever, their gold bars at each other or something? No one's going to do that silliness in Jannah, right? So you can't go into Jannah where like, oh Allah, please remove Hamza from Jannah, right? It's not going to work, right? So you have to take that out. And work on that now, because it's going to be very hard to work on it in the day of judgment, when everything's already finalized. Like, oh man, I wish I would have took that hatred away in my heart now. Now it's good to have hatred for certain things. For example, disbelief. For example, things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't like. Fornication, alcohol, murder. You should dislike that. You should hate those things. Now, hating the person that does those things is another issue. Someone who's a murderer, yeah, you don't like, he's not your best friend. But you wish for him Allah to guide him, right? And to direct him, right? But you hate these things. That's okay in Islam to have that, if you will. But in terms of people, like I said, you want to try to get that out of your heart. And these are two things that, inshallah ta'ala, you can practice, especially when Ramadan's coming, right? If you have hatred in Ramadan and you're asking for Allah to forgive me, Allah grant me Jannah, and then you still hate all these people that are standing like in the same prayer line as you, I don't know, it's not really working for those.
So you think we should all pray for Trump?
Not necessarily. Like I said, you should hate like policies he makes and stuff like that.
Yeah, for hidayah, why not, right?
Yeah, but you should guide them. That's why I said at one time, and some people didn't like this, I said this in the masjid and some people didn't enjoy it, but anyhow, I said, well, like, how many people here will make dua for Bashar al-Assad? Right? And especially we all know what he did, like he's killed multiple people, right? Or you could say, you could say like any of like these tyrannic leaders out there, right? Whatever, trying to think about other people who are really bad out there, right? I'm forgetting the Israeli presidents right now. I mean, who's actually president right now, or Netanyahu and so forth. Like, would you guys make dua for them? And everyone's like, no, like stuck for Allah. Why are you even saying that for? And then I give the example of the Prophet ﷺ in Mecca. If you guys remember his story, read his life in Mecca. Well, one time he made dua for the two Omars. One was Umar ibn Khattab, and Amr, his name was actually Amr, but it comes from the same root word of Amara. Amr, which was Abu Lahab. Right? Abu Lahab what did Abu Lahab do to the Prophet? Right? Try to kill him, try to throw camel guts on him, try to, anytime he walks around, he makes noise so no one can hear what he says. Like the most evil of the evil person. Okay? Right? But the Prophet makes dua for him. But what type of dua? Allah grant him Jannah, Allah, he's the best person in the world? No. Allah guide him and let Islam be strengthened from one of these two people. Now imagine if Trump became Muslim today. Like, wouldn't all of us celebrate it? Like, wow. Like, Muslim ban would be opposite. Like, well, all the Muslims are allowed in and blah, 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 right? It would be a big favor for us. And that's the same thing the Prophet was making dua for Umar ibn Khattab, because if he became Muslim, then wow, he's a very big, powerful person. He'll defend the Muslims, he will do this, and that's exactly what he did. Right? But the Prophet ﷺ, that was his heart. He made dua for the people who actually was trying to kill him. Right? And now here we don't want to do that. We don't want to make dua for Bashar al-Assad and so forth. Right? Yeah, I understand, like a super evil person. I understand that, right? But make dua for his guidance, for him to change his ways. Right? This is what we're talking about. Right? This is the dua that we need to make, inshallah ta'ala. Right? And all the leaders, may Allah guide all of them. So it's one thing, right? So do not hate on each other. That's one thing that we could talk about in terms of removing that hate from each other that we could do. Then the Prophet ﷺ mentioned after this, and do not turn away from one another. Right? What do you mean by do not turn away from one another? So here you could take it in the literal sense or the metaphorical sense. Take it both ways. So the literal sense means the physical, means that when you see, for example, Brother Muazzam coming here, and I have an issue with him. So what I do, I turn away, as if I don't want to give him salams, right? I don't want him to shake his hand. So I kind of pretend he's not there, right? So it means that when someone comes, you see him, do not turn away from each other. Or metaphorically, is that not be two-faced, right? Brother Aslam, alhamdulillah, I'm all good with him and so forth, And then when Brother Muazzam comes, I'm very cold with him. I don't give him salam, I kind of talk like, hey, how you doing? And then I walk away. Very two-faced with people, right? So you don't want to do that at all. That's one way you can understand that. And then the next thing the Prophet ﷺ mentioned is that do not undercut one another in trade. So what is this one thing, once again, you have to understand that the people that Prophet ﷺ was talking about were traders, right, in markets and so forth. That's what they used to do. So not turn at one another in trade means here is that if I'm buying, once again, this bottle of cologne from Brother Aslam, right, for $6, Brother Muazzam knows that he's selling the same bottle of cologne. So he comes in and said, Shahid, I'll sell you that I have the same one in my shop for $5. While I'm speaking to him, Brother Aslam, he jumps in and he takes his sale away from Brother Aslam. How do you think Brother Aslam's going to feel? Is he going to love Brother Muazzam? Are they going to go to have lunch afterwards? No. So, man, you just took my sale, right? You can see how evil that is, right? When someone jumps into someone else when they're about to buy something, right? And so, therefore, you wouldn't want to do that. And so that's what we're in another class I was doing. We're giving the example that if you're like at the cash register, like let's say at Macy's, and then like someone's buying a pot set or something, and then they're about to buy, and you stop like, you know what? It's selling for like $30 cheaper at Target. And they go, oh, I didn't know that, right? And they're about to buy it, they're at the cash register, and now guess what? They put it away. You might think, well, guess what? You did something good, didn't you? You just saved that person $30. Now, but you just took away that sale from basically the person who was about to buy it, right? The thing is that with that example is that the cashier at Macy's, that person is probably not the CEO of Macy's. They probably don't care. That's their weekend job. That's like something they're doing or something, whatever. Not going to be their full-time job, right? And so they're like, oh, I don't care. Go buy it at Target. We don't care. But the thing is though, like if that was CEO of Macy's, he probably wouldn't, or she wouldn't probably enjoy that, right? Or say like, what did you do that for? So the thing is that if you know that someone's buying something and you know it's for cheaper somewhere else, you can either tell them before they get to the cash register, or maybe when they're walking down the parking lot, they could return it back or something like that, right? So that's just like one practical example that we can maybe utilize that. Otherwise, we don't really do this too much. I don't think people have like shops right next to each other that they intervene with each other. But that's what it means, to not undercut one another in trade. Another thing is, the Prophet said after that, he says, but rather be servants to Allah and be brothers amongst yourself.
So, if I can ask, so what you're saying is if you have a chain store business, that's different from like a single owner kind of business?
Kind of, yeah. But that's why I said that at least like when it gets to the cash register, like even though like they tell that person to go buy somewhere else because they're about to buy, the sale's almost gonna be done. But when they're there looking around, you know, and they're like, oh, I want to buy this pot, and then you're like, you know what, they sell that at Target for like $30 cheaper. No, I think that's fine. You know what I mean? Is that you're not making any hard feelings and so forth, you know. But if that person's with one of the Macy's sales rep, and they're showing them the pots, and you say, you know what, they sell it for at Target, then you know maybe you want to take them to the side and say anything, so you don't have any. Basically, you don't want to have bad blood between each other. That's exactly what they're trying to do.
Maybe just not say anything.
Yeah, but like it's not the point that I brought this example because we kind of want to help people. You feel good, like wow, I saved them $30 or something, right? You might like think you did something good today, you know, alhamdulillah, right? So that's why maybe you want to say to them at the side or pull them to the side or something like that. So here we have a couple things here. What was the fourth? We have four things that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned so far. He said, for example, number one, right? Do not envy each other, right? Do not, inflate your prices. Do not hate each other. And then he said, number four, do not turn away from each other. And actually, number five, do not undercut each other in sale. Now, why did the Prophet ﷺ mention envy in the first one? I didn't mention that last. Why did he mention anger first? Why did the Prophet mention envy first?
I guess because that's like kind of like the cause of all these problems.
Exactly. See that? That's the thing. Envy, that what starts a lot of these things. Right? You want to undercut someone in sale because you don't want that guy, the business owner, to get the money. You want his shop to go down because it's competing to your shop, for example. Right? Hatred. No one just starts hating somebody. I just woke up this morning, I hate this guy. No. Right? A lot of times somebody calls it envy. Which is not always true. Like the Trump thing, it's not like you really envy Trump. No one here wants to be president of the United States. Right? I don't think you're like dying, I want to be president so bad. Right? It's just like sometimes you like dislike it of people's character and so forth. So it's not 100% true, but envy obviously is one of the main roots that causes the spread of hatred and bad character in people's hearts. So you never want to have this in your heart itself, right? And whether I'm saying that right now, even myself, we all do that. Like I said, because it's natural. It comes in our heart, but like I said, the way how you handle it, take it away from your heart, is actually what this hadith is about. How do you get that out of your heart? And then the Prophet said, rather be servants of Allah, brothers amongst each other, right? So here, it's a general term, be servants of Allah, right? And be brothers amongst each other. So meaning that servants of Allah, and all of us want to be servants of Allah, right? The true servants of Allah are not people who practice these things, do not hate, do not have envy, do not do all these types of things. And be brothers amongst each other in terms of love each other. You should want good for each other, right? You should be celebrating when someone has a child, someone has a new job, someone has a new house, all these different things, right? And here then the Prophet mentions some rights of Muslims upon other Muslims, right? All of us here, we have certain rights amongst each other, right? That's why when somebody comes in the masjid and says, Assalamu alaikum, what do we say? We say, wa alaikum salam. Why do we say that for? Because the Prophet mentioned one of the rights is to reply back to them. At least if one person does it, then it's sufficient for everyone else, right? But that's one of the rulings here. But otherwise, everyone should reply back. That's one of the rights. And the rights, it said that when someone sneezes, that you say, Yarhamukallah, Allah have mercy on you, right? It's one of the rights of us. I mean, it's just small rights, right? But there's some bigger rights that we have. Just because we're in this faith all together, right? Not because of blood, because of the faith, then there's some things that the Prophet mentioned here. Number one is that he does not oppress him, right? We don't oppress each other. Now, what is oppression? We have to know what oppression is, make sure we don't do it, right? Put people down. Could be. Maybe that means being insulted. That's one thing, maybe.
Make people suffer.
Suffer. Okay, you're getting there. So what's the root of that? What's justice? Oppression is justice.
Harming somebody more than what they deserve.
Good. Someone will say something over there.
Fairness.
Fairness. There you go. So justice and oppression all deal with rights, right? So when you give someone the right, you're doing justice to them, right? This is your book. I give it back to you, but if I go home and I steal it or I don't give it back to you, then I'm oppressing you because I took one of your rights away, right? So making sure you fulfill the rights of each other, right? Whether that's saying, like I said, saying salams to each other, whether that's, one thing, rights we have amongst each other is respect. That's why the sister mentioned, do not insult each other. Is that, we don't put each other down, we don't speak ill of each other, we don't backbite, right? Even though sometimes that does happen, right? This is one of the, examples of rights we have amongst each other. The second thing is do not fail him. What does it mean that do not fail him?
Do not what?
He doesn't fail him. يَخْذُلُهُ from the word khadala. What does fail him mean? Is that if somebody is, for example, speaking ill of Brother Muazzam, and I know that, or they're backbiting him, and I hear that, but I don't say anything. I failed him in terms of what? Defending him, right? So therefore, I did wrong to him, even though he's not in my presence. But since this person was saying something wrong about him or about against his family, and I sit there and then guess what? He's saying, Shahid, you were there, man. Why didn't you help me out? Why didn't you say something back to me? Right? I'm sorry, man. I failed you. Right? That's exactly what it means. Also, when you know somebody's in help, in need, which you're going to get to the next hadith that's going to mention that also, is that you fail them by not helping them out. Right? When you know somebody's gone through a death in the family, someone's sick, and you know that, right? But you don't pick up the phone, even though everyone has unlimited minutes, right? You call now. Before, back in the day, long distance charges. Remember all those type of things? Now that's not even an issue anymore, right? But you don't even call them, ask them how they're doing. Even a text message, the most unconsiderate way of communication ever is text messaging, right? It's just there's no emotions in it now. It's how are you doing, right? It's so easy to do, right? It's just that's actually being considerate of it. But anyhow. Is it sometimes we don't even do that? Or if somebody knows that's in need, for example, financial need, whatever type of need, help, they're moving that weekend, right? And you fail them by not helping them out at all, right? And that's terrible. I was just with an example with a brother. There was a situation within his house, and so it was 10 o'clock at night, and it's man, I have to put my children and my wife in a hotel room because the house is not, it's not secure, there's something going on in the house. And he was around like 6 of us. And we're like, oh man, how much a hotel right now? It's going to cost you so much, and hopefully you find one, right? And then the next day, he was thinking, he's like, we're really close brothers, so he was very blunt with us. And he's like, you know what, guys? Like yesterday when I was telling you guys that I need to find a hotel for my wife and my child to stay, and you know what? I was just thinking that no one amongst you offered for my children or my wife to stay at your house. And we're like, oh, dude, we never even thought about that. Like, yeah, we'll let you. Like, we didn't. Of course, anybody will open our door to you, but we just didn't even think about it, you know. And he really made him feel really bad, right? And I was like, and everyone's like, you know, slapping their head now. But that's some things, you know. Sometimes we fail our brothers and our sisters, even our family, we fail because of these things. So something that you have to be very considerate. That's why I say the essence of good character. I think I said this multiple times before. The essence of good character is consideration. When you are considerate of others, that is the essence of good character. That I'm considerate of how he feels when I tell him something, right? That's what you really want to work on. If you could do that, you could be a very considerate person. Alhamdulillah, you're really going to be successful, at least with your relationships with people.
But if we consider consider someone, so maybe they don't like it. If we ask.
Oh, so give me an example.
Like someone needs help.
Right.
We know. And then we go there to her and him and then ask if you need any help, how we can help. Maybe they don't like it or no.
Oh, they might feel like you're thinking that they're like
How
poor.
Yes.
Oh no, you could call them and ask them. Hey, I heard you're moving, or I heard that you need whatever, not food, but I don't know, whatever, money. Like, oh, I heard like this. They're like, oh no, I don't want anything. And most people will say that.
Yes.
Right? But sometimes you might have to force it. Like, no, here, I'm coming over right now. I'm going to drop this off. No. And then sometimes they'll give it like, oh, okay. Because nobody wants to be a beggar, right? Nobody wants to beg.
Yeah.
So that's natural. If I tell Brother Muslim I have $100 for you, he'll say like, no, it's okay, Shahid, keep your money, man. But I know he is in need. I might have to keep on knocking on the door 2 or 3 times and then he says like, okay. Right. So sometimes don't give up on the first one. Okay, alhamdulillah, he said no. Because most people are going to do that.
Yeah.
Right? And so if he keeps on saying, no, please don't come over, no, it's okay, then you don't force anything on them. And they say, alhamdulillah, okay, I did my job, I asked.
Okay.
And you're off the
I
hook.
think we can help indirectly without saying we're helping him. Suppose if they need money, give them as a gift. Hey, your son something. Your son did something good. This is a gift for you. Not saying that you're helping them.
Exactly.
If they need food, hey, I was stopping by.
Exactly.
Here it is.
Right. No, you're right.
Indirect help without saying you're helping.
Exactly. That's really good. That's a good point. Yes. I mean, everyone has these little tricks and strategies that you could use. You know what I mean? And even if you want to go to higher level, I know families that said that I don't know who's helping me, but every month I get a check. I get a money. What do they call a money order? Right? A money order in the mail from somebody, and it's Hamda that's helping us. Right? And I think I knew who the person was in the room. And they just they said, oh wow, alhamdulillah, that's good, someone's helping you, And so, and if that person wants to get that money order and throw it away, which is silly, because the money order is not a check, it's like, that's actually like $50 or $100. So most likely they're going to go and cash that. When you do a check to somebody, we all probably got a check or a favor from somebody we like, and you just don't want to catch it. You're just like, that's okay, thank you, I appreciate it. Right? Or put money in an envelope, put it, at their doorstep. There's multiple things that you can do to help people, that they need certain things. So if you want to do, and that's ihsan, that's doing extra, that's going more. That's where, those are the people that, alhamdulillah, that Allah has sent into our community. And inshallah, you could be one of those people too, right? So there's different things. So this is something that, definitely you try to help people out as much as you can, right? And like I said, these are great examples. I'm glad you bring this up. This is good that we talk about this type of stuff. So that's it. So doesn't fail him. Number 3, doesn't lie to him. Obviously, that's self-explanatory. Right? Lying to him, telling different false news to make him think about other things and not really know the truth about something. That's well known. And number 4, does not hold him in contempt. What does contempt mean? Contempt's kind of a hard word to define. So I put it here do not belittle that person, which kind of goes on what Sister Aisha was saying. Kind of don't insult that person. Make them feel little, right? Doesn't, what did I put here? Doesn't look down upon that person, right? Oh, whatever, this, he's so-and-so, we don't, really don't give him that much attention, we don't think much of them, right? Because one thing is the honor of somebody you want to keep. The Sharia came down to protect people's honor. That's why we have the ruling that you can't say that someone fornicated without providing witnesses, or else what? That person gets lashed, right? And if it's true Sharia that's being implemented, right? The person who lies about somebody, that said that this person fornicated, that person did adultery, and doesn't perform 4 witnesses or have evidence, well, we say that that person received 80 lashes. Why? Why did 80 lashes for the person? Because we said that the Sharia came down to protect people's honor, right? And the reputation, that's something that's sacred for somebody. You don't want to ruin that, if you will. The same thing here, you shouldn't hold people in contempt, belittle them, look down upon them, etc. All right? There's something just to think about also. These couple points here. And then, then the Prophet ﷺ said, at-taqwa is right here, and he pointed to the heart. Remember I asked you guys a while ago, I asked you, where's the place of Iman? You guys remember that question? Where was the answer to that? Okay, maybe. Okay, a heart. Okay. Anyone else who could remember for that?
What was the question?
The question was, where is the place of Iman? Heart, okay. So it says that taqwa is hahuna, is here. So the heart is big. We have 2 things in the heart, alhamdulillah. It's big enough to have multiple things. Good.
Sadr is more.
Sadr, okay. Okay, good. So one thing we said about Iman, we said Iman is on the heart, it's on the tongue, and it's on the limbs. Remember that? How on the heart? The Prophet is saying that what? That Iman is like 70 odd branches. Remember that hadith? And it said the highest of Iman is saying La ilaha illallah, which is on what? The tongue. And then he said that picking up something that is on the ground, harmful, and removing it is the lowest part of Iman. At least somebody would see something there, they'll move it. Picking something off the ground is what? Through your limbs, right? And then the Prophet said that haya, modesty, is part of Iman. And modesty is what? It's internal to an extent, like shyness, doesn't speak out loud, doesn't want to, cause much attention to the person. And modesty is also in your dress also. So that goes multiple ways. So from this hadith we get imans in all different places. So here that the Prophet said that taqwa is what? Is right here. Right? And why? Because taqwa, why are you talking about taqwa for? Look at this hadith, it's kind of like really, like almost a little strange. So first of all, it said that do not have envy, do not undercut each other, don't be angry amongst each other, etc. Right? And then the Prophet says, be servants of Allah. And then it said, do not oppress a person, do not lie, do not, fail that person. And then the Prophet says, taqwa is over here. It's like this, it's like we're jumping to different topics, if you will. But it's all connected, if you really think about it. Why is the Prophet talking about taqwa right here? Because taqwa is the one that controls what? The heart controls what? Everything. Right? Why do you smile for? Because you feel happy inside. Right? Why does that person look down for all the time? Because what? He's sad. He's going through some things, right? He's mad. He's angry, right? Because it's internal. That makes him have a frown, for example, right? Why does someone help someone out? Because their heart is good. Why do I say something good about him? Because that's what I have in my heart for him, right? That's why we say when someone does, says something really angry or something really bad to you, you say, no, that person gave you what they have in their heart. You give them back what you have in your heart. So you say good things, or else you don't say nothing, you walk away, right? So here the Prophet is saying that the main,